Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial of Salesforce Makes Sense. This is Himanshu and we are continuing our Lightning Web Components Masterclass. Very close to the end of our curriculum. In this tutorial, we'll specifically talk about navigation. The last tutorial was about how to show notifications. This one is going to be about navigation. Right? Now, what is navigation? Navigation is nothing but the user being able to navigate or move from one particular page that is currently on to another. Right? So in Lightning or in the Lightning platform, every page has its own page reference, right? Now this page reference is a very important JavaScript object and it helps you do any kind of navigations primarily. Okay, what does this contain or what is this page reference object about? Could be an interview question. It contains all the details about the current page. What is the URL of the page? What are the attributes? What are the input params? All of that information is available on the page reference. So now the same page reference can be used alongside Lightning/navigation library. So we'll look at this library in detail, but Lightning/navigation is another library that we are going to use, and we are going to use this page reference to be able to navigate to different kind of pages. Right now, what could be different kind of pages? The different kind of pages would be, let's say you want to move from one record page to another. You want to move from one navigation item to another. You want to move to an object page, let's say accounts, cases, contact, opportunity, custom object ABC. You want to go to a third party page or a web page. All of those navigations are possible if you know how to use the page reference and you know how to use the navigation library, that is Lightning/navigation. All right, what you need to do as a prerequisite or to be able to do this is you need to extend the properties of navigation mixin when wanting to use this capability in your LWC component. Now, what is navigation mixin? This is basically an extension of the Lightning element, right? So let me just go ahead and do this. Let's go to our VS Code and I'm going to go ahead and create a new Lightning Web component and I'll say navigation possibilities. All right, I'll create this LWC, and before jumping into the tutorial, if I were to show you on GitHub, you can find my entire code repository on LWC. Whatever we have discussed, whatever I have done, it is available here. There are about 19 commits. I'll put the link somewhere on the chat or something, but this is where all your LWC components are available. You go into force main default, you go into LWC, you will see all the components that I have on my local machine are available here. I've committed everything for your use. All right, and I can see that some people have star marked this particular repository and some of them are watching. So yeah, take a look and just try to use the code if you have to. All right, so that's a repository that has the entire thing. Cool. Coming back to the tutorial, what I've done is I've just created a LWC component called navigation possibilities. Right, what does it normally do? If you see the syntax, it creates a template, it creates the meta file, and then it creates the JS file. The JS file contains the class name, which is nothing but the LWC component, and it extends the capabilities of Lightning element. Right? This is what is imported from LWC, and this is what allows us to do anything that we do in LWC. This is the baseline of everything. Right? But now, if you have to use, let's say, wire, what do? You import wire from here, from your LWC module. You import API, you import track. And let's say you want to import Salesforce schema, you do another import. You want to call an Apex class, you do another import. But when you want to do navigation, right, what you have to do is you'll have to use a different import command. What is that import command? And it's getting auto typed. I don't know why I had disabled it, but that's okay. So import something from something. Now what is that something? It is Lightning/navigation. That is the library name. All right, and what are we wanting to import? We are wanting to import the navigation mixin. So that's the name of the library that we want to import. Cool. So that's the import statement that we write. On top of it, there's one more prerequisite that you need to do. Now that is basically extend your Lightning element to be power packed with the navigation mixin. So you take this import and you extend the capabilities of navigation mixin and put Lightning element in the bracket as a parameter. Now you will ask, Himanshu, what does this mean? This syntax does not make sense all of a sudden, right? So think of it like this, that Lightning element is the base framework that allows you to do anything in LWC. But now you are giving more powers to it by extending the capabilities of navigation mixin on the Lightning element. That's how you should read it. Alright, your current LWC class is going to extend the properties of lightning element, but it is also going to have the flavor of navigation mixin properties, which is nothing but being able to move across pages by navigating from one page to another. That we'll look in a while. Alright, now in here, what are our possibilities? Our possibilities are, let's say I want to go to a record page, a specific record. Okay, I want to, let's say, go to a tab. All right, I want to go, let's say, to a web page, which is an external page, or let's say I want to do, let's say, a list view, or let's say I want to do an object page, or let's say any kind of URL navigation that you want to do, meaning, you know, from one point A to point B is available through the navigation mixin library. All right, and this is what we'll look at. What will I do here just for this use cases? I'm going to go ahead and create some buttons here. Each button when clicked will help you with the navigation. All right, so what am I going to do? My first and foremost thing would basically be to create a lightning card. I'll give it a name, navigation possibilities. And then in here, I'll want to introduce buttons, right? So I'll have a button. All right, I'll just use this auto finish. It's faster, that's fine. We don't need to understand this code. We already know about it. I'm just going to bring in, let's say, 4 things or 5 things. First thing is go to a record page. All right. Second thing is, let's say, go to a web page. Third thing is, let's say, go to a custom tab. Fourth thing is, let's say, go to a list view. All right. And now here, every button has its own on-click listener, right? And what is an on-click listener? It is essentially nothing but a function. So what will I do? I'll create one method for each of my buttons. So I'll say navigate to record page, navigate to web, navigate to tab, navigate to view. All right. So because that I've called them here, I have to define them on the JS file also. So I'll just copy this name, go to my JS file, get rid of my comments, bring in my method. That's my first method. All right. Similarly, I'll have my second, third, and fourth method. So it's giving me this autocomplete. Somehow I had actually, you know, disabled this for the sake of the curriculum, but I'm seeing it again. I'll disable it in a while. Okay. So what's the next thing? Navigate to object home. I don't think I'm using it. So I'll just go ahead and pick what I have. Navigate to web. That's my second thing. Navigate to tab. You see how autocomplete kind of fools you. You thought, you know, everything is correct, but it is not. That's not the method names that I have used. Cool. So I have all my 4 methods created. The goal of each method is basically nothing but to be able to navigate from this particular context to somewhere else. And for that, prerequisite has been to import the navigation mixin from the navigation library and also extend my lightning element to give additional powers or add-ons or a plugin capability of navigation mixin. And now what's here in the HTML? Very plain code, just 4 buttons which will be clicked. That's all. And when they are going to be clicked, I'm going to have a event or basically a function written here. As of now, that's all. Cool. Now begins the real deal. This is where we want to navigate to a record page, right? So you'll have to understand the syntax before even writing it, right? So if you have to navigate to a record page, what all details do you need to navigate to a record page? What do I need to tell the system? I need to tell the system that I want to, let's say, navigate to a contact page. Fine. Which record on the contact page? I need to give the record ID, right? So these are the 2 things that we need to essentially tell the system so that we can navigate, correct? And when I'm saying that I want to look at a specific record of an account or a contact, I also need to tell the system the type of page that I'm wanting to access. What are those type of pages? A record page, object page, web page, right? So there's a syntax or, you know, possible values that you can type, right? Now, with that said, what are the 2 things that I talked about? I talked about type and I talked about some attributes, right? What is my type? Type is going to be my standard record page, because the record page is a standard page, comes out of the box from Salesforce. Cool. Now I want to pass a set of key value pairs. What are those? Those are my attributes. That my record ID should be something, my object API name should be something, and the kind of action I want to take. Do I want to just see it or edit it or clone it? That's what I have to mention here. These are my attributes. Okay, so I'm just going to put in a record ID. I'm going to put in the object name, and I'm going to put in the action. I would just want to view the page of a account object, and I'll just pass in the record ID from here. Let's go into accounts, Yellow Bridge, pick in this record ID from the URL, go back to our code, put it here. All right, so my type has been defined and my attributes have been defined. This is what we need to tell the system. Now, who do we need to tell this to? We need to tell this to the navigation Mixin library, right? So what we have to do is we have to create an object of the navigation Mixin, and that would look something like this. And we'll have to call the navigate method out of it. All right, this method will essentially take whatever we have passed as parameters, and that's it. So if you understood what needs to be passed inside, it is very easy to understand this complex kind of a code that looks complex when you see it on a high level. But then we started from the bottom up. We added the type first, we added the attributes, we understood what are the attributes that we can pass, and then we wrapped it around by calling the navigation mixin.navigate method. All right, and you're using this to refer to the lightning element that's currently on your page, on your context. All right, so that's that, and that's basically all you need to be able to do a navigation, but we'll have to also expose our components. So I'll just go ahead and say targets, and then my target is going to be, I'll just keep record page, home page, app page, that's fine. I'll just remove the record page from here. I'll say deploy. All right, so the component looks good, and the very first navigation that we have done is to navigate to a record page. Let's go to Salesforce and let's go into the home page, and let's bring in our component here. I'll say edit page, and the name of my component is notification possibilities, right? So it's not showing up here. Navigation, right? Not notification. So navigation possibilities, it's right here. I'll bring this guy here on the top, move this guy out, and that's our component. Looks neat, has the buttons. There's some spacing missing, we'll just go ahead and add it. What can I do? I'll just put in a class. I'll say that I need some spacing on the right side of every button. So what I can say, I'll say SLDS margin right small. All right, so I'll just put this margin and I'll put it in all the buttons. So there will be some spacing on the right side of every button. Let's say deploy, and let's say save here, and let's go back. All right, so now there's some spacing, but on the left side also I need some spacing. So for the very first one, I can add a similar spacing, but this time I want to put it on the left side also, only for the first one, because the left for the others is already spaced. Cool. Let's say deploy. And what have we done? We have clicked on this. We want to click on the navigate to record page, which will call this method, and call the navigate functionality, which will take you to a specific account record, and you will be able to view it. Ready for it? Let's click refresh and let's see how it navigates. So I'm on the home page. I click on the go to record page, and this basically changes the URL and brings you to the Yellow Bridge record as expected. Smooth like butter. All right, so you are able to navigate from one particular page to another within Salesforce. That's possible, that's available, and just by writing 3 to 4 lines of code. At the same time, it's not just record pages. You can do object pages, you can do list views, you can do web pages, you can do custom tabs. So any and every kind of navigation is more or less possible. All right, so now what we'll do is, what you can do is probably take a look at the documentation and try to fill in this yourself, right? While I'll just go ahead and do it. Okay, so I'll just bring in the same code on all the 4, right? The code is going to be the same, it's just that the type and the attributes are going to change. So for the very first one, navigate to web, what do? You basically tell the system what kind of URL you want to go to, right? So the type is not going to be a record page here, it is going to be a web page. All right, and here you don't need the record ID and the object API name, because you don't have that. What do you have? You are going to a website, so you need the URL. Correct? So what is the URL we are going to put? Of course, my YouTube channel. All right, so I'm just going to bring in YouTube/Salesforce makes sense. I think this should work. Yeah, that's my channel. Let's go back and let's bring this here. That's the URL. Okay, what did you say for the navigate to web? You said that you need to go to a web page and you have defined the URL here. Cool. What about a custom tab? In case of a tab, what do? Right? In case of a tab, you have to tell the system that you want to go to a specific tab page. So just take a look at what is the tab type page. What is it called? Is it called a nav page or a nav item page? Just take a look at it. Okay, and try to do it yourself. All right, so essentially it is going to be called a nav item page. Let's go ahead and verify it very quickly. I'm just going to go into navigation, Mixin, tab page, navigate to tab, right? So if I go to navigate to tab, lightning navigation to new tab, there's a sample here and it says this is what, record page. No, we don't want this. Let's go to navigate to different page types, Salesforce documentation. And here I want to, let's say, go to a custom tab. Yeah, so you see there's a tab option available and the page name is nav item page. All right, and you can look at more page type examples here. Every example is available. Just take a look at the use case and you will be able to find, okay, this is how you do it. So I'll just put the standard nav item page as the type, and here what is the attribute it needs? It needs the API name of the custom tab. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and get rid of everything and I'll say API name is equal to something, and this should point to a tab. Let's go to Salesforce, let's go to setup and let's go to tabs. All right, and I think I have this assignment settings, right? What is this? This is assignment settings. So I'll just take the API name, which is assignment settings. Let me pick this up, and I think I'll have to put a underscore here because that's the API name. Okay, I'll just put it here. That's my custom tab. All right, and what about a list view? You can use a navigate to list view option also. In that case, you have to tell the system that I want to see the list view of a specific page, right? So you have to say that it is going to be of a object page. Now when you say you want to go for a list view, you have to tell the system that what I want to do. I want to do a view, or I want to do an edit, or I want to see a list, right? So your action will be list instead of a view, and the object will be account. Do you need a record ID for a list view? No, because you are going to have multiple records, so you don't need a record ID. Make sense? So very quickly and very easily we have been able to navigate to 4 different things. Let's go ahead and click on the deploy button and let's try these out. Let's see if it all works as expected. All right, or are we getting any blockers? Deployed. Let's go back, refresh our page here. I'll close the Yellow Bridge account and I'll just go to web page. That opens up my channel. Very easy CTA. All right, that's the web page integration. If I want to go to a custom tab, it says that the URL does not exist. Something is wrong with what we have done. Okay, what about list view? It says URL does not exist. Perfect. So 2 things are not working. What are those 2 things? One is this particular API name, which is the nav item page, and the second thing is the object page, right? So this brings an opportunity for us to actually look at the document and try to navigate to a account list view. Let's go to the documentation. And here it says custom tabs from managed package are identified by their namespace. We don't have a custom tab from managed package. We have a tab from, our normal Salesforce page, right? So this is assignment settings. Let me take the name exactly, maybe the API name, or let me do this. Let's go to developer console. And let's try to see if I can query it out. ID from custom tab. Or let's say just tab. Yeah, no, custom tabs. What do we have? There's tab definition. Okay, so if I do ID name label and I say query, what is tab definition give? It says display notifications. That's not the one. Okay, that's a custom tab for some component. Let me just use this display underscore notifications. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in display underscore notifications and I'm going to say deploy. All right, that's sorted. What about the list view? I want to move to a list view, right? So I'll say list view, and yeah, navigate to a contacts list view. So what does it say? It says that you need to navigate by saying that the type page is a standard object page. Have we done this? Yes, we have done this. On the attributes, you have object API name and action name. I have object API name as account, action name as list. Perfect. It also says that you need to define the state. So filter name is a property on the page state, and it identifies the target list view. So you have to tell the system what kind of list view you want to go for. That's basically it. Okay, so we'll have to introduce one more parameter because we did not say that, I want to go to a list, but which kind of list view? There are n number of list views, right? So let me just put filter name recent. Let's see what happens. I'm just playing around with it, and let's say deploy. Deployed fine. Let's refresh our page. And now let's first of all try the custom tab. It takes you to another tab. Perfect. All right. And if I go back home and I go to list view, it still says it does not exist. So something is wrong here because I believe that we don't have a list view with that name. So if I go to accounts and I let's say go to all accounts and I look at, let's say, rename, it is called all accounts, right? Let me just go ahead and put this out and let's say deploy. All right, let's go back home. Yeah, something is wrong or off with this particular button, but it's okay. We can look at the documentation and fix it. All right, great. So that's all I wanted to cover as part of the navigation. What I want to close this particular tutorial with is basically, instead of just seeing these buttons, click and do things, the real use case is basically when you interact with the database and then you want to do something, right? So what I'll do is I'll just take this method out. I'll just copy it and we'll go back to the last tutorial that we did, which was toast display, I believe, right? Or what did we do last? Let's see. Custom case creator. Yeah, we have a case creator and then there is a case record getting created. Let's look at this custom case creator. What is this? It's on the home page. Let's look at this component very quickly. Custom case creator. What is the HTML? Custom case creator form. Perfect. Let's see custom case, this one right here, right? So I'm going to create a case. Let's first of all check if it works fine or not. Call medium urgent issue. Okay, create case. So it says that your case has been successfully submitted and it has the case ID. Perfect, works fine. But what I want to do is as soon as my case is created, I want the user to be navigated to that case record automatically. All right, so we're going to use this particular module, add the navigation capabilities and the toast capabilities on top of it so that we do a full circle. Okay, I'll get rid of this record type ID because we don't need it for now. It was just for the sake of understanding whether the record type ID is coming up or not. And now I'll go back to the JS file and here I have the alert written, but a very good option to do is toast. We have just learned about it, right? So let's go to our toast display method that we have here on the JS file, and this is the method that we have, right? So I'm just going to pick up the method because I've used it somewhere else. It's very easy to take it up from there. Go back to my custom case creator JS file, and here instead of an alert I want to call the toast. Wrong positioning, it has to be a method, right? So that we can reuse it. And how do I call it? I'll say this dot show toast, and I need to pass 4 things: title, message, variant, mode. Perfect. So title, message, variant, mode. Mode is going to be sticky, variant is going to be success, title is going to be success, message is going to be your record has been successfully created. All right, so the toast bit is ready. Nice. Now I don't need this alert but I still need the record.id. Why do I need it for? I need it for my navigation. So I'll show the toast and then I'll say this dot navigate to record. All right, and I'll pass the record.id as a parameter. What is this method? This is a method that I've created, so I have to define it here. What does it do? It expects a parameter. So I have the record ID as the parameter, which is being passed here. Perfect. And now here the automation is already giving me the data. So navigation mixin.navigate. I want to go to a record page. The record ID is mapped here. It should be the case object and the action would be view. I just want to look at the record that's created. Perfect. Should work fine. Let's say deploy. For those of you who understood and kind of thought, no, it will not work fine because we have not extended the capabilities, neither have we imported it. So we are going to say import navigation mixin from lightning navigation, and we have to say that I want to extend the capabilities of navigation mixin on top of what I have from the lightning element. That's another prerequisite that we have to do. I'll say deploy again. This time will it work? Navigation should work, but we still have a problem with the toast. Remember, even the toast has a show toast note event. This event is taken from the lightning platform show toast import library, correct? So we have to do that as well. That's right here. So without your imports, your code will not run, and you'll be running around thinking, you know, what have I done wrong? You'll be figuring out things here, you know, is the title wrong? Is the key wrong? Is the variable naming wrong? Have I mapped the wrong variable? No, the problem is at the top level, this level. So always ensure that your basics and your foundation is set up properly, and only then go deep into the code. Yeah, great. Now that we have the component ready, let's refresh, and with fingers crossed, let's try creating a case now. All right, so I'll go down here, search for the custom case component, and I'm going to say I want to follow up with my community. All right, I want to see the priority is high, and I want to say I want to check with everyone if they have completed 80 chapters of the LWC curriculum. I think 85, yeah, cool. I'm going to create a case for myself, and the toast is showing up, and even the record is opened. Amazing. And because it is sticky, you have to click on the cross icon to close it, and now you're able to see your record. That was very smooth, very fast. All right, so that's how you would integrate your toasts, your notifications. And just like this, if you look at this code that we did together, this looks like a good handy code to actually create a record out of scratch, from scratch. All right, with that changes being done, I'm going to just go ahead and commit all of these changes, and I'll put navigation and notification as the commit message, so you can find it on the Git. All right, I'll just publish this change to my Git. I'll close all of these tabs. Let's go to Safari, refresh, and I should see it here. So navigation and notification has just been done now, 20 commits in total. If I click on this commit icon, it will take me to the code that I've made changes to. All right, the green sign says that, you know, you have made a new change, and the red is basically what has been eliminated. All right, and now that that's done, another good practice always is to basically update your CLI if you have not done it yet, or basically it's been some time. So if I do SFDX update, it will tell me, yeah, there's a version available from 101 to 102. Okay, with that being done, and all your, you know, extensions and plugins are installed and in the latest version, you will never have, you know, issues like, you know, slowing down of a VS code, or, you know, things not working, or authorize org failing. Everything will work smoothly. So this is done. Delete. And now if I click on Apex use cases, it is set as the default org, and when I click on the open org, it will very quickly open the browser for me. Okay, in Windows it does take some time, but yeah, for Mac it works a bit faster. All right, great. I think that's all I wanted to cover as part of this particular tutorial. I hope this was helpful. Just put a message saying navigation makes sense or notification makes sense, and, you know, I just put up those messages so I know that you have listened to my tutorial and tried it out till the end. Yeah, I will talk to you in the next one, in which we are going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Let's look at it. We are going to talk about target configs. All right, great. See you in the next one. Bye.